Hello and welcome back to the Pacific Perspectives podcast. This is our first episode of the 2025-26 regular season, and it's pretty good timing too because last night the Canucks and Oilers played each other for the first time this season. Unfortunately, the game sucked. So, do we want to get into that first, Xavier? What do you want to say about it?
Yeah, I think we'll go into that. I mean, it was obviously, I don't think anyone will agree that was pure domination by a cup contending team and a team that's kind of still trying to figure it out a little bit. But there were some individual things from individual Canucks that I just was kind of dumbfounded by. Like, just Pedersen was awful. Would you agree with that? He just didn't do anything. He wasn't like a negative asset in that game. I mean, most like Canucks when you're putting up 14 shots, I don't think anyone has a good game besides Besser who scored. But Pedersen genuinely, I don't think I actually noticed him once. Early season thinking on Pedersen, what is it?
In that game, Pedersen was sort of invisible, and if he plays like that all season, then he's got to go. But I don't think it was like terrible, terrible. Like, yeah, he was invisible, but he didn't make any specifically stupid
Yeah,
plays like some of the other Canucks did. He
definitely.
was a part of us getting that only goal that we scored, and he was starting some of the penalty killing shifts, which the penalty kill was one of the two bright spots for the Canucks yesterday. And Pedersen was doing a great job on the penalty kill. So we need him to be scoring points, and he didn't score a point. He didn't do enough, but I don't think that he would be the first person I'd call out after that game. So I'm
It's just a
surprised that
cap
he's the
hit.
one. Yeah, I mean, it is the money and the expectations on him, but there were other guys
Yeah.
who did a lot worse than him in that game for the Canucks, and
I,
nobody did particularly well except for one player, obviously,
yeah.
who did very well.
I didn't really hate him against the Flames either. He was moving it well in that game, but
Yeah, I got a primary.
yeah. I you say the penalty kill was good, and I mean it was okay, but your best penalty killer has to be Demko. So I guess if you look at it in that sense, I try to separate the two because they like the Oilers on every power play they had like four high danger chances in close every time. And a lot of that is just Tomashek and Draisaitl did not raise the puck when they needed to, but like there was highlight reel save after highlight reel save from Denko every single time. It was insane.
The defense was still doing enough. Like they were getting the puck out of the zone. I thought that they did well enough, and I mean, if they did any worse, I'm sure the Oilers would have scored one. It's obviously Demko was the best penalty killer and the reason why the Oilers went 0 for 5. But when the Oilers go 0 for 5, it's more than just the goalie who's keeping them to 0 for 5. Like the defense did their job, and it's a very tough Oilers penalty kill. So I'm happy with what they did, and we used so many different guys. I was shocked to see Jake DeBrusk out there at one point. I did not expect to see him, and the Oilers still didn't score. We used like basically everybody. Quinn Hughes got out there for a little bit. It was impressive. They're still seemingly a good penalty killing team through these first two
Yeah.
games. They're 9 for 9 on the penalty kill. It's nice to carry that over, especially considering we don't have Pius Suter anymore, and Teddy Bluger's out right now, and those were our two key penalty killing forwards last year. But they've so far been able to continue that trend, which is very nice to see. So that was one takeaway from the game that was good.
Yeah, usually for me penalty kills are less about the individual people on it and it's more just the team system. And I mean, I know it was a different coach now, but it obviously still works. One thing with the
The
PK
system's
though.
impo- the system is important and all, but the execution of it is important too. And Bluger and Suter were both elite penalty killers last year. They were executing it perfectly. So not having them and still going 5 for 5 against McDavid and Draisaitl,
Yeah,
like it is a lot about the system, but it was still a hit to lose Suter and Bluger. Well,
probably.
Bluger for him.
Matthias Janmark is out for the Oilers right now. And they just signed Jack Roslovic. We'll get back to the game, but just a quick little quip on the penalty kill. The Oilers penalty kill has looked okay. It's definitely looked better than last year, where it wasn't terrible, but it was definitely average towards the bottom of the league. And Yanmark is supposed to be like this, like super jackknife, good penalty kill player. He's really not. Again, it's the Oilers' penalty kill system, which they completely changed up this year, is solid, and then their goalie just lets in every single high danger chance. But I think everyone knows at this point. But I bring that up to say, Janmark, the Oilers just made a bunch of moves, and they're probably going to make more. Hyman comes back probably around November 1st. That's when he can come back. Lord knows he's probably healthy already, but they put him on LTIR. Janmark, he's probably gone. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if they'll get anything for him, but I've been told he's like, they have a trade in place. And if he will waive to a certain team, he's gone. A lot of fans of the Oilers probably won't like that because it's like, oh, he does score a basically on cue 2 clutch goals every single time we go to the finals there. But I mean, he's just such a replaceable guy, and considering you're getting like legit NHL contributions from Howard, Savoy, and Philp, who are all paid league minimum for the next 2 years, you're gonna have him in your lineup over Janmark, especially in the playoffs when having that cap hit get under the whatever the cap hit is. It definitely matters. He's gone, and thankfully, good riddance, because that guy sucks off the penalty kill.
Yeah, he's not good. Well, I think he's an NHL caliber player, but I don't think losing him means that you're going to lose the season. I think it's more than fine, especially because
someone's going to act like that, I'm sure.
The trade-off here is Janmark leaves, Roslovic comes in, and Roslovic is fine. He's good. The main selling point there is that he scores a lot more than Janmark does. And I don't know if Edmonton particularly needs that scoring, but it doesn't hurt.
I actually do think that we definitely need that scoring. The thing is, Roslovic is just as bad defensively, 5v5, as Janmark is. That's to say, kind of a liability. He gives the puck away a lot, so I'm told. I honestly haven't watched a lot of Roslovic, so I'm kind of just speaking on the stats I'm seeing. But he really does seem like maybe a poor man's Mangiapane, and Mangiapane's already kind of a poor man's anyone. So it's not like a game-breaking or a season-making signing, but if he can get 15 goals, and I'm sure he can with like 12, 13 minutes of ice time, that's solid, efficient production. I think he just needs to keep those giveaways down to a minimum, because on this team, there's just so many forwards fighting for a spot. Even if Janmark is gone, you'll have guys like punching from under. I mean, Philp scored his last goal, or his first goal yesterday, and it was nice. And through 2 games, he's looked like a legit NHLer. Howard, even in like 10 minutes of ice time that he's getting, has looked really good. Savoy is working like hell, and he had like 5. I think he had 4 shots yesterday, and they were all very, very good chances. He's knocking on the door. Tomasek, he's in. Man, he's doing way better than I thought he would. So there's really no spot for him, to be honest. But he'll have a short leash. So when he makes those defensive mishaps, and I'm sure he will, there'll be someone banging on the door for him. So it's interesting to see where Roslovic ends up. He'll probably play against like the Islanders to start, but I don't know. It's an interesting signing.
I think it's funny how symmetrical it is to the Kevin Lankinen signing by the Canucks last year. It's a guy who held out for so long, who definitely wanted more term and more money, and rejected a deal from the team that eventually signed him before realizing he had no other options. The season was on its way. Signs for a lot less than what he wanted for 1 year. So maybe that trend will continue, and Roslovic will get $5 million.
Please no.
On his next deal.
I think the rumored price was that the Oilers actually offered him something around like a 4 years or 3 years times $3.5 million, which I wouldn't have loved that contract, but that's like just what his market value is. He didn't get an offer from the Hurricanes. He had an offer from like the Predators, a bunch of other middling teams who probably could have fit him in his top 9, and he said no to all of it. This isn't like a John Klingberg 8x8 bag fumble, but he clearly, I think it's a little funny that there were a ton of reports like a couple months ago that he just straight up said no to the Oilers. And everyone's like, haha, yeah, McDavid's not there, so nobody wants to sign there anymore. And now he just comes back, like, he circles back to the. I don't know. It feels a little weird. Soured my taste on him a little bit. But again, well, it's an interesting sign. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes.
Canucks were on the Canucks were in on him for a while, and then gave up. I'm assuming he was being annoying to like every single team over the summer, and the
Yeah,
Oilers were like the last team left that didn't hate him. The Canucks didn't see him
probably.
as much of a long-term improvement, which I don't see him as a long-term improvement either. I wouldn't have minded bringing him in for that exact contract that you guys gave him, just because like if Hedel gets injured,
Yeah,
Brozovic isn't a 2C or anything, but he can at least be a temporary
yeah.
replacement, maybe.
I definitely think it
Um,
makes a lot more. It would have made a lot more sense for the Canucks. Like the Oilers signing him is just it's another forward who has like 15 goal potential. Like you could say that about literally anyone on the roster for the Oilers. They already have plenty of those guys. So I don't know.
but I'm okay with not getting Roslovic. I don't know if Roslovic would have been the make or break for our
Definitely not.
team. And Hedel had a good first game, so maybe not so good of a second game.
Maybe not. Just right to Mangiapane right there. Who, by the way, two
Yeah, and
goals in
then
2 games to start his Oilers career. That's he's looking good. He's looking
and
good.
then Hedel also took that offensive zone penalty
That was
late in the
terrible.
third when we had momentum going for a lot of the period. Finally, couldn't find that momentum most of the time. I think we have to talk about Demko because Demko looked like Demko, and that was
Yeah.
very nice to see. It's games like that that kind of concern me a little bit though, because he had a heavy workload. His body was contorting in every single direction. That is the exact kind of game where he sustains those types of injuries. I think it's funny to say this after a game where he just put up a 944, I think it was. But I think Kevin Lankinen has to start tomorrow because I am so worried about preserving Thatcher Demko's body for the full season. He did great in the first game against Calgary. He was amazing last night. He like unbelievable.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And I would love to keep him in, but he will break. So I think Lankinen has to be in net tomorrow. St. Louis is a bit easier of a team than Edmonton anyway. And it is an important game to win because St. Louis and Vancouver are probably likely to end up around the same point range. And these games all count the same. I don't care that it's October. All of these points count the same. We need to be winning games. But I think Lankinen has to start tomorrow. Demko was unbelievable.
And Lankinen's not a bad goalie either. He definitely fell off since the extension, and I
Not
think
worth
you'd
the
probably
contract.
take that back. But he,
I was ready to take it back when it happened. Most of the time,
yeah,
when the Canucks re-sign someone, my instant reaction is, "Oh yeah, let's go! I can't. I'm so happy we're bringing this guy back." On my story, the only thing I posted was like the tweet notification of the Lankinen contract and the words "caps going up" with an exclamation point. I knew from the start. I wanted to have faith in him, but I thought it was fake when I got the notification because that is so high.
it's just not a guy you need to keep. Like if that was his number, you say thank you very much for your services. Like have a good day. It's like the Oilers in the Mikko Koskinen contract like 5 years ago. Like he's an okay goalie, but there are better goalies going for like league minimum. There are better goalies on waivers at like September 30th. Like it doesn't really make sense. You don't need to hold a guy like and Vancouver's not really hard pressed against the cap as some other teams are, so it doesn't matter too much and the cap is going up. But still, like best case scenario, he's not going to be the starter over Demko. If he is, you're screwed anyways. Um, just oh man,
I
I
think it
don't know.
all boils
It's weird.
down to Demko, honestly, because if Demko were consistently a healthy goalie who we can get 50 plus games out of, we could have totally just let Lankinen go
Yeah.
and kept Shelovs. But the problem is that there's always the opportunity for Demko to just be out and miss a couple months of the season. And at that point, you have to think Lankinen can probably make it fine. Like he won't steal games for the Canucks, but he can give them the opportunity to win. Elovs at the NHL level has
Sucked.
provided some doubts, that he can be the starting goalie for an extended period of
It's a
time. So I
nice way
think
of putting it.
I honestly think Demko is a big reason why Langton was the one who was chosen to stay over
Oh yeah,
Shilovs.
absolutely.
If we
Sealovs is
ignore the
much more of a
game,
question mark.
if we ignore the game Shilovs played last night, he had a really good season opener against the
It's true.
Rangers. Got a shutout. That's
Yeah.
nice. It's tough for him to be behind that Penguins defense. I would have had a lot of faith in him as the Canucks backup. I don't think I would have wanted him to take over as the starter for an extended period of time. So I understand why the Canucks did what they did, but that contract is so bad to Lankinen.
Evander Kane.
Oh, we're going to Evander Kane right now.
I saw your face tense up when I said his name.
Ugh. Um. Ugh. You can talk. Man. You go first.
He's
I
just
don't
as
want.
bad as he was before. He's getting a little more ice time in Vancouver. I think he's up to like 17 minutes a night, and he's taking shots. They're not very good. They're not very good shots. But he's doing things. I'll say that. He's an exciting player. He is an exciting player, and he's actually playing this year. But he's somehow even worse defensively than he was before. So it doesn't look like he's really going to bounce back. I got to be honest. I don't think anyone was really counting on that besides maybe some optimistic Canucks fans. But again,
Man,
we talked about it in that one clip at the club. Why would you trade for Kane and just get rid of Joshua? Like Joshua is just straight up the better player for less money, and he's younger. It makes no sense.
Kane's a little bit tougher, and they wanted to be tougher. They wanted the experience, I think, too, because our oldest player, we only have two other 30-year-olds on offense. I feel like that's probably what it was. Kane was so bad last night. Kane was so bad. And when we originally traded for him, I had a meltdown on Instagram about it. I had so many people coming after me and saying like, "Oh, look at his scoring. We need scoring. We need that grit." And the grit,
He doesn't
yeah,
even score.
we do. His grit was very, very funny last night. He was pissing off his former team. Darnell Nurse wanted to beat him up, and he threw an incredible hit on Regula, which I mean,
Oh, he's
that
amazing.
made me like yell at the TV in happiness. Other than that, the things that Kane does on the ice are so bad, but there's no there's no stat for how bad it is. Like he just isn't reading any plays. He has no chemistry with anyone. He keeps giving Edmonton the puck. He takes the stupid penalties. He takes away so much more from this team than he adds, and we're paying him over $5 million and giving him a spot on the first power play unit and giving him a spot on the second line, and he's doing absolutely nothing with it. He had a good pass to Lekkerimäki in the first game. That was a good assist. Other than that, he hasn't done anything offensively, and we need the goal scoring. We need him to be a 20-goal guy, and if he can't at least be that, he's entirely useless. And even with the 20 goals, he's still taking away more than he adds, but
I can give you a
it's
stat.
so brutal to watch Evander Kane, and I knew it was going to be like this, and I hopefully he can bring it around a little bit. We have 80 games left, but I don't know. He was already bad
Yeah.
before missing an entire regular season. And then he missed all of last regular season, and now he's worse, which could have been predictable.
I suppose if there's a team that, like I said with the Roslovic signing, it makes sense to acquire a bad defensive forward that with offensive upside because like they did not score goals last year. So if a team were to do it, it makes sense to get Kane, and you're not spending that cap anyways. But he actively hurts you when he's on the ice. He's not even good offensively anymore. He wasn't in the playoffs. Like he had a nice few goals from distance, but I'd call it more luck than anything. But maybe I'm just an Evander Kane hater. But you want a stat? I have a stat right here. Natural Stat Track. The last 3 years with Connor McDavid, who is routinely like top 5 in expected goals percentage on a team that is like very good in expected goals percentage. Connor McDavid alone, all situations, I think he gets, or not I think, it's right here, 65.8% expected goals percentage. So he's basically 2-1 upping anyone's scoring chances, which is like the best in the league. Obviously, it's Connor McDavid with Kane. With Kane, all situations. Remember, he played with him on the power play for quite some time. Not last year, but quite some time. That falls to 53. 50. You are nerfing Connor McDavid. That's how bad you are. Evander Kane. Like, he has nothing in his offensive bag besides a very good shooting percentage. And now it's gone. It's gone. He doesn't even have that anymore. What?
What's Evander Kane's all situations?
On the Oilers, I believe it was like 50.5. And this is a team that routinely has like a 60% expected goals percentage.
Yeah. No, he's just bad. He's slow.
He's
Doesn't
just
really
bad.
know how to do anything anymore.
He's Milan Lucic.
People argued with me when I said I wanted Garland on the first power play unit over Kane, but
That's
I don't
a
look
no-brainer.
crazy now, do I? Realistically, it's not Garland. At this point, right now, for tomorrow, first power play unit, instead of Kane, it's Lecker-Mackey. That, like, you have to
That's
put
fire.
that shot on the first power play unit. Move Besser somewhere else. Put Lecker-Mackey on that left side or right side of the goaltender so he has that one-timer. Because, his shot yesterday looked so good. He was missing the target a little bit, but he just has such a rip. I love Lecker-Mackey. I'm glad that he's finally seeming to bring it around a little bit. He's got to be on the... How is Evander Kane on the first power play unit over him right now?
I got to say, though, when I think Kane got that Regula hit behind the net, and Nurse came to just, like, give him a hug, it was funny because, Nurse was like... He really wanted to fight him, but Kane's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. First of all, Nurse would destroy him, but also you can't do that. It's kind of hard to fight a friend.
I noticed that too. Like, as Nurse was challenging him, Kane looked like he wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video on Sportsnet where the Canucks were all saying that the Oilers are their biggest rivals for the upcoming season, but Kane said, "Oh, it's probably the." Well, why wouldn't it be the Oilers? So we lost you guys in playoffs. So
we don't think about you at all.
No, I know, but I mean, we're still
sad.
kind of somewhere up there for you. It's like the Blue Jays calling the Yankees their biggest rival. Like
yeah.
they are. Who else would it be for us? We don't have Calgary. We don't have a team in our province. It's not
True.
Seattle. We have no animosity with Seattle. For me, it's Vegas, but that's a one-sided beef between me and Vegas. Anyway, Kane actually called Hyman during that and left him a voice message saying that he misses him and to give him a call back. So I don't think Kane wanted any animosity against his former team, but he didn't mind sending Regula to the fucking ice.
Yeah. I mean,
Didn't play with him.
If you're Evander Kane, it's like this is like by far the farthest you've went in the playoffs. You're playing with two of the best players like of all time. I doubt he has too much bad to say about Edmonton. I mean, they gave him all that money, so realistically, any animosity that he's building up, even with an absolutely massive hit that, by the way, was not dirty. Some people were saying it was shoulder to head. No, it was his clavicle. It was a very, very good hit, and Regula, like, head up, buddy. By the way, he sucks. But he wouldn't have much bad to say, right? Even with a massive hit like that, there's no animosity. You could see that when Nurse didn't seem very sincere in trying to fight him.
Yeah, when Kane said that the Oilers were probably their biggest rival, he said it with like a grin on his face, like, "Oh yeah, I guess those guys I used to play for." I think it's to go off track. I think it's obvious that the Canucks would call the Oilers their biggest rivals because we know that the West runs through Edmonton right now. They've made it out of the West the past 2 years. They're in the Pacific. They're geographically close to us. So I don't think it's crazy that the Canucks would say Edmonton, even though Edmonton has bigger fish like you guys would have. I wonder who you guys would say, because some of you would say Calgary, but I feel like some would say Florida.
It was Calgary in that 2020 to 2022 period, and when we beat them, it just kind of all got spent. But it would.
I feel like some of them still might say for Battle of Alberta, though, just because of
there's just
history.
No animosity. There's just like in that first game. I think the Flames would say that the Oilers are the biggest rival because like you're looking up when you're talking about rivals. So for us, it would probably be the Panthers. Like even in the regular season, those games are really, really heated just because of the battles. But that's pretty
I
easy.
read something quite funny in the comments section of that Sportsnet post. I don't know if it's true because I don't really pay attention to your team in the media or anything, but someone said a couple months ago Draisaitl called the Canucks their biggest rivals, which makes no sense, but it would be really funny if that were a thing that
I
actually
didn't.
happened.
No, I didn't see anything like that. That could have happened, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Oilers have not even thought about the Canucks until this game for a
I
year.
mean, you have to think the last year there was the probably the most animosity the Oilers had in a game was against the Canucks
Oh,
in that
absolutely.
game where Garland and McDavid had the thing. So there's still tension between the two teams,
Yeah.
and it boiled over to last night too.
Myers took a dick shot and
There
he
was
got
still
fined.
well, that was pretty funny. I think best $2,500 he's ever spent. I think that the it's definitely still a rivalry, even if one team is very clearly a lot better than the other. These teams really don't like each other still.
Yeah. I you always love to see it. Last night, even with the hits and those moves, there wasn't that much animosity, but it was probably more because just how the game was going. I imagine if it was a lot closer, or if the Canucks tied it, then you'd probably see it boil over and see some real scrums. But nothing really
There were a
like
good
that.
amount of scrums, I thought, and I mean, there would have been a fight if Evander Kane didn't feel bad. I don't like Myers is probably the only other guy who would have fought.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of fighters on our team anymore, but I mean, I thought it was still there was still a good amount of tension. But you're right, it would have been a lot more if the Canucks were actually playing hockey for the whole game.
yeah, exactly. I think that's all my thoughts on the game. To be honest, on both teams' performance, there isn't too much to say outside of Demko.
No, no. I mean, like, yeah, two bright spots. I talked about it in my video. Demko penalty kill. It's nice to get something out of that game because it was shambolic. But there's some takeaways. So, yeah. Do you wanna talk about the McDavid extension while I go do my laundry real quick?
I should do that. All right, buckle up, buckle up. I'm gonna face some talking points I've seen. So, Connor McDavid last Wednesday he signs for 2 years, 12.5. I'm a little upset, and it initially kind of scared me to only see that it was 2 years, but I was really expecting more like a 4 times 14 deal, so it was less money than that. Taking 12 obviously is ridiculous. It's being heralded as like the best contract of all time, the biggest discount ever. Maybe not for that length, but I definitely see where people are coming. People don't seem to have a grasp on what McDavid's strategy is with this. And he's made it very clear. This isn't even reading between the lines or having some insider look. This is direct from the mouth. Connor McDavid's honesty showing up right here. He wants to win. All he cares about is winning. I think if it guaranteed him one cup over the next rest of his career, and this is the only way for him to win a cup, he would sign league minimum for the rest of his life. He would do that. He does not care about the money, and like he said, his dog's not going hungry with that money. He doesn't need that much more. He's probably got like a $10 million deal with BioSteel or whatever Instacart he's got now. His wife's going crazy with that stuff, but all he cares about is winning. I can imagine here people said if they don't win in these next 3 years, he's leaving. I don't really buy that at all, because if the Oilers have, let's say this year they lose in the first round, that's not good. Next year they lose in the cup final again. McDavid will probably still extend, especially if the younger players like Savoy and Howard are huge parts of that, and they're now like top six players, bona fide, for real. They are going to be a top six forward for the rest of their career. If you have that in place, even with people aging out, you can imagine that Stan Bowman has like replaced, the older guys at home with some younger talent at that point, like he's already doing with Podkolzin and Savoy and Howard. He's done really good with that. He's done very good with that. McDavid would re-up. He would only re-up for another 2 years because the Oilers are still the most likely team to make the cup final at that point. They're the most likely cup contending team that time. That's all this is. I honestly don't believe that McDavid has a genuine, serious loyalty to the Oilers. I think he has a serious loyalty to winning, and the Oilers are probably the best positioned team to win a cup over the next 5 years, just considering everyone's age, where their prime is at. And after 5 years, it becomes a little bit murky. If you project that Hyman and Nuge don't fall off a cliff and they're still like decent NHLers for their cap hit, or at least worth it, it still makes sense to re-up with them, especially if, like I said, Savoy, Howard are still all right. So I don't agree. I don't agree with the whole, if they don't win in this contract, it's over. And even if that happened, not a single Oilers fan should and probably would be like, oh man, what a snake. He's leaving. He's going to Toronto or whatever. He won't go to Toronto. But dude, McDavid could have left next year, and he has every right to. He has every right to. He deserves to go to anywhere where he's going to win. So right now, all he cares about is winning. I don't think he has a legit loyalty to the Oilers. They just so happen to also be the team that is going to probably win. They're set up the best. And honestly, that's all I really have to say about it. People have been overcomplicating it. Like, oh yeah, he's going to leave after 2 years. He doesn't want. He sees that like Draisaitl, McDavid, or he sees that like Draisaitl, Nuge, Hyman, they're getting older. This is him saying, you have 2 years or I'm gone. No, you have 2 years at this cap hit, and then it'll probably go up. I can imagine if the Oilers win, then it would be like, okay, I'm staying, and I'm gonna stay for like $20 million, 8 years, and that'll be whatever contract. If you look at how Jonathan Taves and Kane got their money up after they got their cup wins, they did not care. I imagine it'll probably be something like that. He's gonna keep taking these discounts until they win, anywhere he goes.
Yeah, I can't imagine him being on a different team ever, and I do think that if they do win within this contract, that he's going to take a payday. I don't think it's guaranteed that he stays on Edmonton. If he sees another team out there that has a good chance, a young team, like, who knows, maybe Utah, that would be kind of interesting. I feel like he might want to take that chance, because how old is he when the contract expires?
31.
He's 31. At that point, he's in his early 30s. He knows that he's got to get a cup at some point in his career to. And we've talked about this. I do think he needs a cup to establish his legacy, even if it is a team accolade. It's hard to go down in history without a cup, and I think he would want to have that cup for his legacy. So I don't think it's guaranteed he stays in Edmonton, but I do think he definitely has the best chance there currently, if only they had a goalie.
Yeah.
But it is also an interesting point that him and Matthews could be free agents at the same time. It would be quite funny if they colluded a little bit. No, it wouldn't happen. But
they both go to Florida.
Oh my God! Imagine. Oh, do you know the hatred? McDavid would never be allowed to step foot in Alberta again if he went to Florida.
I think I'm at the point. I'm so unmarried to the idea of McDavid being it's just so obvious. He has removed all emotion from this process. He obviously loves Edmonton. I mean, he wouldn't stay there if he like literally hated the city. But all he cares about is winning. If it was absolutely guaranteed that Vegas was going to win the cup, whether McDavid went there or not, he would go there for he would pay them probably $20 million to go to Vegas if it was guaranteed that you know what I mean? He doesn't care. He's going to keep signing these short-term contracts, whatever the current best place to win is. That's what I can imagine.
And then they also re-signed Wallman. That was kind of I didn't realize how old Wallman was now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got into that while I was doing my laundry.
No, I didn't. So yeah, okay. Wallman, I think he's 28 right now. So the contract begins when he's 29. And yeah, he even in my mind, he's always a younger guy. And if you look at his elite prospects, his hockey DB, he has like absolutely no mileage on him. He's had a few injuries, a few like crucial injuries, but the everyone around him has said that they're both separate injuries and they don't seem to really be hurting him. Obviously, he had his best year last year, so I'd imagine that's probably true. Defensemen are being better for longer in their careers now, so I have absolutely no doubt that when he's 35, going into the last year of this deal at 7x7, he'll still be worth that. And yes, he's absolutely worth the 7 million they're giving him here. Even if he falls off a little bit from last year. Last year he was worth like 8 or 9. Like he was really good. He was the number 1 defenseman for the Sharks and he was almost I think he was a plus on that Sharks team. Like do you know how ridiculous that is? That's insane. And in the playoffs he was a perfect replacement for Ekholm.
I'm gonna stat correct a couple things here. He is currently 29, so the deal will kick in when he turns 30.
Okay.
And on the Sharks in 50 games last year, he had 32 points and was a -1, which is still respectable.
Yeah, -1. He was a plus at some point, but yeah, -1 even. That's good.
He ended the season as a +4. He was a +5 in Edmonton in 15 games, so
yeah,
not his fault. He had a good season.
Yeah, not his fault. He's a good defenseman, and I mean we're seeing what defensemen are getting paid now. Lane Hutson's probably going to get like the McDavid contract.
That Lacombe contract was a heart attack. I wouldn't say he's not worth it or anything, but I didn't expect him to get that much money.
Yeah, I think it's a little early to sign him to that, considering he had one good year, and even his like previous years in junior or in college and on the Gulls weren't 9 million good.
He played 27 minutes against San Jose last night. Anaheim won 7-6, and he didn't get a point in all of that time. That's crazy.
He very well could live up to that contract. I'd even say it's likely. And Luke Hughes, who just got paid, he's having a great start to his year. I think he has like 5 points in 2 games.
And he is the highest paid Hughes brother for 2 seasons.
That's so funny to me.
It is.
That's so funny to me. Because, like, that's obviously not going to hold up. You know, Quinn and Jack are both going to get, like, 20 million by the time their contract's up. But just for now, and he's going to be the highest paid for 2 years. Like, that's insane. That is
the brand
insane.
deals. They can still flex the money on him because I bet they're getting more from brands.
Obviously. I don't think anyone's giving Luke Hughes a giant ad deal. Not going to lie.
Unless his brothers are also attached to it.
Oh. You know what? That's a good point. They're probably getting the bag.
Well, you can't have Jack and Quinn and then not have Luke, you know? Like, that's
irrelevant.
Imagine calling up just 2 of the brothers and be like, Luke, you can stay home. We're good, buddy. We don't need you.
I don't know. He's definitely... I mean, everyone knows he's the worst one, but he has more points than Quinn Hughes. A lot more points than Quinn. Sorry, the Trump voice came out. He has a lot more points than Quinn Hughes so far. I hope he has a good year. I was going to take him in fantasy.
It was unbelievable that we scored 5 goals in our opener and Quinn didn't get a point on any of them. But he did break the record. He broke the Canucks franchise record for points by defenseman yesterday. And it took Jack Michaels like 5 minutes to say anything about it, and it was killing me. Terrible commentating for a national feed. Now, I can understand why, as an Oilers fan, you could like him, but if you're going to commentate a game and be the feed for both fan bases, that was brutal.
What I look for, personally, in a broadcast team is not for them to be right or, like... I just want them to be listenable and have good chemistry. Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque have, like, really, really good chemistry. I like their voices.
Not listenable.
Unlistenable. I do actually prefer. I do prefer Shorty. I prefer the Canucks broadcast team.
I really like him, and I think that he's very good at being unbiased. Hopefully, it's always the Canucks Leafs games. We always get the Leafs announcers, and I don't get it. Like even the Vancouver game, Shorthouse is good at being unbiased, even if the Leafs fans would probably be pissed at him anyway. I feel like he deserves to get those spots, but the Canucks are just so bad of a team that they don't get priority
Yeah.
in their commentators ever.
Yeah, Shorthouse did the playoffs a couple years ago for Florida, and he was good.
Yeah,
He was very
yeah.
unbiased. He was good.
While we're on the commentators point, I want to get off of this, but I want at some point this season, John Garrett needs to get on a Canucks broadcast. He's been doing a couple games, both the past 2 years since he left the Canucks, but he hasn't done a Canucks game, and I miss him. I need a the John and John connection again. I'm fiending for it. Guaranteed we win that game if it happens.
Is Ray Ferraro
Anyway,
still doing stuff on the TV for the Canucks?
yeah, he did the first game. He'll be doing a good amount of Canucks games. It's mainly Tomlinson, who I like. He's not quite as good as Ray or John Garrett, but I think Tomlinson is pretty good, and I think he's been improving too. But obviously, Shorthouse is the main selling point of that broadcast because he's great.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I think Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque are biased, but not like intentionally. Like they probably. I mean, DeBrusque, his son plays for Vancouver. They obviously don't hate Vancouver. Jack Michaels
Well,
is from BC, or no, he's not from BC, but he lived in BC.
it seemed like Louis did not like anybody else besides his son.
No.
He did say, like Jack Michaels said, and Jake DeBrusque has been given an assist on that goal, and Louis said,
Yeah.
a smile has just appeared on my face. But then other than that, like he said that the Uyghur hit on Pedersen and the Pedersen hit on Zeri were two different hits when it was very similar, and Zeri had headshot Elias Pedersen last
Yeah.
year, so it was deserved, and that was frustrating me. It was the same fucking hit.
He
Like
called the who got boarded? Who got boarded by Myers? Was it Regula?
I don't remember, but I think wasn't it a Kane hit?
No, no, it was Myers. It was behind the net along the boards. But anyways,
I
Michaels
swear
called
that
it
was
a
Kane.
board, and or yeah, no, it was Kane. What am I talking about? But he called it a board, and I don't know. I really don't think that was a board, like even relatively. That I don't see it at all. So he definitely can be really biased with stuff like that. Just saying like whenever he says I'm sorry, but and then insert this is a penalty. He's right sometimes, but he really just sounds like a fan. And I don't hate that. Again, it's entertaining. I like it. They provide good commentary. They're wrong most of the time, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. That's all I really care about.
Okay, let's get off commentators because we still have one more Oilers extension to talk about, and
Oh yes.
I gotta make dinner. Matthias Ekholm, what are your thoughts?
I mean, everyone seems to understand it's good money. The one thing it's that one extra year. 2 times 4 would have been the best realistically good contract you can possibly get. Ekholm probably walks to retirement after that 3rd year, and it's a question of whether his health really holds up because he got those back-to-back injuries. When he got the injury that injured him for the entire playoffs and why he sucked in the finals, he basically got on for one shift against the Sharks, and then something was wrong, and he was out for a month. So that kind of concerned me for like, okay, age is adding up here. Maybe he's not going to be the same when he comes back. Ekholm has been amazing this year, so that's obviously not a thing. That basically immediately ails whatever I was worrying about with this contract. Now, obviously, if he gets knee on knee and is gone for 4 months against like the Rangers tomorrow, that's going to concern me. Any more major injuries for Ekholm probably means that he's going to take a serious hit to his actual playing value. But until that happens, this is a really, really good contract. Like, this is 3rd pairing money. We're talking about Brett Kulak on his next extension getting like $5 million, and that would probably be worth it. So for $4 million for a right now number 2 defenseman Matthias Ekholm on most teams, maybe even a number 1, that is insanely good money. Those are contracts that win you the cup. They really are. So I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see how he looks in year 2 of the deal.
I think it's a fantastic deal. I would say the only teams he's a number 1 defenseman on are the really bad teams, but I think he's one of the better number 2 defensemen in the league. And I'm not really worried about that third year. I think $4 million. That's such a tiny amount of the cap for such a very good defenseman, and because he's a defensive guy, I feel like his play can sustain itself longer. So I mean, I
Exactly.
think it's a perfect contract. When I saw the notification come in, I was very surprised that they were able to get him on that deal, and impressed that a lot of these guys on Edmonton are very committed to this team.
Yeah.
Clearly, and why wouldn't they be? You get
You
to
know,
play with McDavid.
suddenly Stan Bowman, if you look at his entire tenure, um, ironically, and Oilers Nation talked about this quite a bit. Besides his very first move, letting Holloway and Broberg walk, which was probably not even mostly his because he had been in charge of the team for like a month at that point. I don't imagine he'd have absolute full reign. Um, I don't think he's made a single wrong or straight up even average or bad move for the Oilers here. Every move he's made has been an absolute banger. Like the Podkolzin deal, getting Savoy, like getting Ingram for absolutely free. Like
Howard.
he's never really done anything wrong.
Howard.
Who?
Howard.
The Howard deal is
Getting well,
very good.
getting Howard for O'Reilly. That's
Oh
also
yeah.
great. I'm adding to.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was a bad deal. No, 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 no.
No, no.
Yeah,
Howard is much better than Sam O'Reilly. It
and
was
and
a very
especially
good
his
one.
contracts. I mean, people rightfully clowned on Stan Bowman for his contracts, but as we've seen, those were really owner directed. That was keep the boys together. Don't let any of them go. Give them whatever they ask for. And now we're really seeing that he's really smartened up with these contracts. I mean, I don't think he signed a bad deal. I think maybe Adam Henrique, but no, that was Ken Holland. Besides, I mean, I can't think of anything. So Stan Bowman's tenure as an Oiler so far has been A, not quite A plus because we don't have a cup, but it's been A minus. Unexpected.
But he still has not filled the glaring gap, unless Ingram decides to be really, really good.
I'll judge
I
him
think
on
that
that
needs to
by
be.
the deadline.
That is what I was going to say. I think that needs to be fixed by that point. Hopefully it's Bennington, because that would mean the Blues are completely out of it.
Probably.
I feel like surely the Blues have to get rid of Bennington at some point. I mean, Hofer's
Yeah.
probably good enough to take over as a
Hofer's
starter.
really knocking on the door.
Or
He
younger.
he's had a better start. I mean, it's been one game for each of them, but he
Yeah.
had a way better game than Bennington had against the Wild.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I would be very happy if the Oilers were stuck with Stuart Skinner as their starter, but
It doesn't
um,
look like it's happening. The media has
I don't
really
think so.
telegraphed that if he doesn't smarten up, he's like, it's over.
I would say that Pickard was better than him, but obviously Pickard was better than him. The Canucks didn't do fucking anything against Pickard, so
The
not
one
really the
high
best.
danger shot he faced went in. So
That wasn't even high danger. That was
it was in the
Besser
slot.
spun it around and it went just
Yeah.
through Pickard somehow.
It was a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it.
Is that all we have to
About
talk
15.
about today?
I believe it is. I don't feel like I have anything else to say
Oh,
about the Canucks
Mariners
because they
Mariners
did nothing.
baseball.
Mariners baseball. I got the jersey on. We're playing the Leafs. I'm gonna get shit talked so badly if we lose. I might have to close my Instagram DMs for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a good sport throughout this series. I mean, I've already been trying to ease tension on my story about the fact that I'm a Mariners fan. It's kind of hard to get out of the fact that I'm a Mariners fan now because I've been posting about it so much. But I believe in the team. It's hard after that 15 inning game. I think my hair is turning gray from watching this team. But yeah, they start tonight, and I'm at work during the game. I picked up a shift at work, um, for 8 o'clock on Sunday, which is the exact time that ALCS game one starts, because I had so little faith in them beating Scoobel again. They beat Scoobel 3 different times this year up until that game, and I was like, oh, there's no way it's happening again. And they didn't beat Scoobel. They scored one run off him, and then eventually won the game because our pitching was really good, other than that one pitch to Kerry Bonds. Yeah, I work through this game, which is completely fine because it's a Blue Jays game. I'm gonna get away with watching it, so it's cool. I need to make money. I'm broke. I book off Canucks games. I can't book off Mariners games too. And it's only game one, but I'll be watching very intently, and I will be public enemy number one at work because everybody else is a Blue Jays
Yeah.
fan.
I don't know how my followers feel, but I'm not a fan of any baseball team because I don't love, besides playoff baseball, I cannot stand the sport. But I have heavily rooted for the Mariners the last whatever the year was when they almost made the playoffs on like 2022, something like that.
2021 was the year when they made it to like game 162
Yeah.
and then got eliminated.
Yeah, I've rooted for them pretty heavily, and I'm going to continue to. World Series champs very very soon here, I'm sure.
Hopefully, this is the furthest they've made it in my entire life, and it's very nerve-wracking. I'm not used to meaningful baseball like this,
Yeah.
and we're playing against, of course, the team in the region where I live, so I can't avoid Blue Jays fans, and I'm scared.
Well, I think that'll do it for this week's edition. Anything else to say?
No, the Kings suck. Cody Cece doesn't know how to play hockey. Other than that, that's it.
Who would have thought? All right, we'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.